It's for syncing the audio.
Dang.
Yeah.
I just thought it was for fun.
I know, it's like, let's go, you know?
One of those old traditions.
So, fire away. Huge honour for me.
Huge honour for me today. Yeah, working last week, we were doing collar sleeve. We're hitting triangles from there because I feel like that's the most abundant of the submissions.
Such a abundant source of stuff.
Yeah, so it always seems to pop up. And so yeah, it's just good to always have that in your back pocket. Obviously there's loads of different submissions from there, but that one just seems crucial,
cool.
Especially for the beginners in the class. So yeah.
Well, we'll start with Jimmy Sanders.
Collar sleeve. Yeah, so from standing, always like to make a nice pocket grip in here. I can fold it out over my fingers and grab here. This is super tight. And a grip on the lapel at the same height as the shoulder. And if you're a complete scumbag, you can really grab inside here. And it's illegal, but I don't think many refs really pick you out for it. And it's so hard to break this if you've got inside here. But no, we'll just do this one. We have a foot just in the hip here, and our left foot is going to be on their bicep, just tracking their bicep for any movements that they try and do. And I'm going to try and keep this angle to them. Notice how my hips are facing in this sort of direction. One of his best passes would be if my hips this way and he pushes my leg to the ground, which I really don't want. It starts moving. So it's sort of essential to maintain the guard, to keep my hips facing in this direction. I want to be keeping my leg not fully extended and straight, but also not too crunched in here. I'm going to be using it to break his posture along with these grips. So I need to be able to extend it whenever I want, and I need to also, after I've extended it, hip escape in towards him. So it's like a reverse hip escape, so that I can maintain this distance that I'm trying to keep. So this grip, I always find if they're really desperate to break my grips, I have to be quite high with it. But I don't need to be so tense all the time, because I'll just waste my energy. So what I'll do is I can feel it, it's like an antenna. If he starts to decide to break my grips and move, then I can be tight, then I can start to break his posture out again, make him think about other things. But I don't need to be so tight all the time, because it's the same with the collar grip as well. I don't need to be wasting energy on my grips until he forces me to. So if he starts to try to break grips, then I'll stretch him out and use a bit more strength.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, so ideally we want his posture like this. This is perfect. A good passer probably won't let me get here very easily. He'll have his posture high. And crucially for the triangle, he'll be stopping my hips from coming high or entering around his neck and arm. So he'll either be doing what he was doing just here, crushing my leg, or if he's the other foot forward, then his elbow will be tight against the knee. And this stops my hips from entering this gap. So that's why part of this guard, as I say, is to break that posture and stretch out his body towards me so that I can enter my hips high for the triangle position. And the last, there's loads of things. Another common thing is that he'll make a grip on my pants here, which is what you should be doing if you're trying to pass. But to try and shoot my triangle now would be ill-advised, because he's got a grip on my leg, so he might throw me over and stack me. Either way, it's just going to be harder for me to finish the triangle. So I have to address this grip if I want to shoot, which means I'm going to make another grip on his sleeve with my left hand and break this grip first. I can then circle round if I don't want to shoot the triangle and just come to a shallow lasso, or just circle around and come to the bicep. Before he gets a chance to make that grip again, then I can be shooting for my triangle if I've timed it right.
That's cool.
So whenever we're looking for these triangles, we need a gap between the elbow and the knee, and we need to have enough room to be able to, and time, to be able to shoot my hips all the way out to close this gap. So I need to be able to get here. If I shoot a triangle to here, this is no good. A good person's going to throw my legs past or crowd me, and it's going to be not just a waste of technique, but I'm also going to lose the position. So you have to know when to shoot these triangles, and that just comes with experience, really. So yeah, throwing off the bicep with my foot, and when I can get a moment where he's either not gripping my leg or his arm just seems to go low. When I get that second, I can shoot up and catch here. So I'm raising my hips to meet him. This is essential. If you don't raise your hips to meet him, the triangle is going to be much harder to finish. So once I've met up on his neck here, I'm going to cross my legs. I'm going to grab on my shin and either lock the triangle here or pull the head down with my other hand so that I can lock the triangle. It's already quite tight here. To finish this triangle, to make it super tight, I'll keep my hand on my chin, my right hand on my chin, use my left arm to create an angle here. As long as my arm's here, I can open my legs so that this angle works a little bit better. Sometimes you can keep your legs locked during the angle change, but it makes it easier to create this angle if you underhook the leg and just remove your leg. But you have to stay super tight with your hand and make sure that you don't let go here, because they'll be trying to get out. Once I've created this angle, I can hook over with my right leg, and this is going to be super tight as soon as I start squeezing. Sorry, dude.
That's good.
So yeah, foot on the bicep, other foot on the hip. I'm stretching the body out so that I can create a gap here. And when the time is right, I'm going to raise my hips to meet his neck. Cross my feet, grab my shin. Now, the weight of my leg is actually breaking your posture. So once my leg is over the back of your neck, it's going to be pretty tricky for you to posture up here. But even if you did start to posture up, that gives me access to this far leg, so that can create this angle. Cross over the top, and squeeze for the finish. There's obviously lots of different reactions your partner can give you, or your opponent can give you. One of the things that I just happen to notice, travelling to different gyms, that I seem to catch people with a lot, and I hit a lot in competition as well, is the deep lace De-La-Riva, or De-La-Riva X sweep. And this happens to be a little bit easier to hit if they drop this knee to the mat. And it gives me a chance to put my left foot in to the De-La-Riva X position. So I'm going to be using my right foot to create an angle to help me feed my left leg through to De-La-Riva. And if his leg's really far out, I can't reach the De-La-Riva X, then I'm going to use the De-La-Riva to bend his leg in so that I've created this space I can shoot my left leg all the way through. I need an active hook on his far hip, and my right leg is also going to be hooking on the back side of his thigh. It's not essential that I hold on to this grip anymore, but it is essential that you don't let go of the sleeve grip, because it's going to help us with our sweep when we're coming up. But it's also going to take away his base when we go over. From here, it's really hard for Pete to stop me from just creating this off balance. If I pull his arm out, he's going to come over like this pretty easily. It's quite easy for me to take this right leg out. I can keep my left leg over his leg to pin it to the mat and come through to the knee side. Or take different positions like now, depends on what they give. If they're super scrambly, then you can just take the 2 points. So yeah, it's a pretty common defence, people to just take this knee back, because it sort of creates a bit of distance for the triangle, because his knee's here, and it means that if I was to try and shoot for the triangle, he has this lever to posture his whole upper body off. So I wouldn't necessarily advise hitting the triangle from here unless he was really leaning over me and he's too off balance. I might be able to get it, but still his leg's getting in the way here, yeah? So this is why the triangle is always there, but you have to know when to use it. But one thing he has done by taking this knee to the ground is he's made his leg really light, which means I can get to De-La-Riva X very easily. If he was standing up still, then getting to De-La-Riva X can be a lot more tricky, because especially De-La-Riva passing often means he's being very weighted on his front leg here. He's going to be using his weight to push my De-La-Riva hook out. So when he's on one knee, it's a lot harder for him to do that. And it's a lot easier for me to use my De-La-Riva hook to put the angle of his leg in, create this hole for me to shoot my leg all the way through. Quickly want to put my other leg in so that I've got this De-La-Riva X position. I'm going to keep his sleeve really high to take away his base. And we're just going to lean to the right and come up. pinning his leg with my left leg. And if you want the leg drag to go around to the back, you can take it this way. Or you can do the knee slide, like in the first step.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
Cheers. So the reason I've been working a lot more berimbolo recently is because if he does have that foot on the ground, and I shoot for this delicate X hook, and then his weight goes to my left instead, so he puts his hip to the mat. I've no longer got that sweep, and I find it a lot harder to come up from here because my hook's here, and I sort of end up sort of bending over my own leg. So there is options for berimbolo from here instead, which I'm not going to explore in this video. But that is sort of, again, like I say, the reactionary nature of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you have to sort of take what they give you. Yeah. But they often do give you that knee on the ground, and they often don't lean one way or the other. So that sweep comes up very often, and it's really powerful and demoralising.
So that's us for another week, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you want to keep seeing these videos coming out, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, do everything that you can to support the growth of the channel and the club. Cheers.